If you want to know how to negotiate a real estate price and terms, I think you're really going to enjoy this. Now, I included terms to that because it's the two of those, price and terms, that make up comprehensive real estate negotiation strategies. And it's the first of the many house buying negotiating tactics I can let you in on, the concept of price and terms. As an epic real estate investor, that's how you want to buy a house, by either your price in the seller's terms or the seller's price in your terms. As long as you can control one, you can always make a deal for yourself. Boom! And I'm gonna show you how to do that right now. So get your pen and your paper ready, because this one's packed with stuff that you don't wanna forget. But before we start, click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because I post cool stuff like this each and every week and you don't wanna miss it. Let's go. Hi, my name is Matt Theriault. I am CEO of Epic Real Estate, where we show people how to invest in real estate with an emphasis on retiring early and what could potentially accelerate one's retirement or overall financial freedom faster than anything is buying at the right price. You might have heard the expression before, you make your money when you buy real estate. Well, it's true. It's where a big jump start to your wealth can be created by negotiating the right price up front. So I've got 5 key points for you that make up a comprehensive real estate negotiation strategy that will turn you into an expert real estate negotiator. 1, expectations. 2, intent. 3, strategy. 4, process. And 5, this is a bonus, my personal favorite ninja buying house tactics. Let's start with expectations. If this right here represents 100% of all real estate sales on a daily basis, up here we have 95% of all sales. These are people that want to sell. Then down here, you have 5% of people that need to sell. I don't care how good of a negotiator you are, it's virtually impossible to say the right thing to the wrong person, meaning there's not enough motivation up here for these people to sell to you at a discount. Conversely, it's almost equally impossible to say the wrong thing to the right person. Meaning, if someone's motivated enough, it won't matter how new of a negotiator or how bad of a negotiator you are. You can still buy these properties down here at a discount. This is what we call low-hanging fruit. So you'll want to practice your negotiating skills the same way you'd practice any other skill, with massive repetition. You want to practice your negotiating skills of price and terms so you can buy the deals in here. And the better you get, the more you'll be able to reach in and grab the deals from up here. And the better you get, the deeper your discounts will get down here. The big takeaway I want you to get here is, as you start talking to property owners, most of them will not sell to you at a discount. The foundation of every deal lies within the seller's motivation to sell. Regardless of how good of a negotiator you are, motivation on the seller's part is still a very necessary component to buying property at a discount. If your expectations are set any other way, it's gonna be a real struggle for you. Bottom line, don't waste your time with unmotivated sellers. There are plenty of motivated ones waiting for you. Next, intent. Your mindset must be that of a problem-solving reluctant buyer. Meaning, in most cases, property owners that will call you are those that have some sort of problem. In other words, motivation. The type of problem that a traditional sale through a realtor won't solve. You are there to solve that problem for them, because sellers will exchange equity for peace of mind. Additionally, you are reluctant because you can't solve all problems and buy every property, nor should you want to. Just because someone is willing to sell you their property at a discount doesn't mean you should buy it. From beginning to end, your conversation with sellers should be that of an interview to see if they and their property qualifies for your time, your money, and your effort to complete the purchase. Your job is not to prove to the seller that they should sell to you, but rather make them prove that you should buy from them. During the initial interview, your intent is to take charge, build rapport, uncover motivation, and set up a time to see the property. When you get to the property, your intent is then to continue the interview, walk the property, confirm what you know about the property, flesh out more of what the seller knows about the property, negotiate a deal, and present your offer. That right there is the ultimate intent. Get to the point where you make an offer. No offer, no deal. Next, strategy. And overall, it comes in 2 parts. Part 1, team up with the seller to solve the seller's problem. Your opponent is the market, not the seller. The market determines the value, not you or the seller. So blame the market for everything bad. You are the good cop. The market is the bad cop. For example, if an unreasonable seller at first wants $125,000 for their $100,000 house, your attitude would be, well, let's go for it. If the market will allow it, we'll make it happen. If the market won't play ball, I've got some other options for you. Be the good cop with options. That's the first part of the negotiation strategy. The second part is price and terms. In that same scenario, you could help the seller get their price, even if it is unreasonable, of $125,000 for their $100,000 house, if you have a say in the terms. And the two work together like this. When the price goes up, the terms get extended, and vice versa. If the seller needs fast cash, then the price comes down. As long as you can control the price or terms, you can always make a deal for yourself. So get control of one or the other. If you get control of both, hey, that's even better, but you only need control of one. That's the strategy. Now, here's the process. It breaks down into 3 phases. Phase 1, the interview. Phase 2, the meeting. And phase 3, the follow-up. Phase 1. I call the initial conversation with the seller the interview to see if this is even a property you want to pursue. It begins by setting the stage and taking control. And it might sound something like this. Thanks for calling. You know, most people that call me want to know how much they can get for their property and how this all works. Do you have those same types of questions? Perfect. I can let you in on all of that. Do you have a few minutes to answer some questions about the property so that I can give you the best answers to your questions? Great. And then after, you can tell me how you'd like to proceed. Is that fair? The second part of the interview is to ask these questions, qualifying questions. And you want to qualify not only the property, but the seller for their motivation. Because if there's no motivation, there's likely to be no deal. So this is key. Questions you'll want to ask are things like, what's the general condition of the house? Is anyone living in it right now? Is there anything special you think I should know about the property? Sounds like a house that might work for me. Why would you want to sell it? How long have you been thinking about selling it? Why don't you just keep it as a rental? Have you considered calling a realtor? Do you have an idea as to what houses like yours are selling for? What's the lowest you would take? Is that at all negotiable? And then repeat back all answers to the seller and ask, did I miss anything? Be quiet and then let them talk. So when they're done telling you everything about the house, you'll say something like, well, if the market will validate your price, would this be a later or a sooner thing? Typically, not always, but typically, if they say sooner at this point, I'll move into the third part of the interview, the transition to the meeting. The transition would sound something like this. Sounds good, Mr. Seller, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to help you or not. The market conditions will have more to say on that. But here's what I can promise. When I see the inside of the property, if at any point I feel that it won't be a good fit, I'll let you know right away. And all I ask in return is that if at any point you don't feel this will be a good fit, you agree to let me know right away as well. Is that fair? Perfect. I can come over later today or first thing in the morning. Which will work best for you? And set the appointment for phase 2, the meeting. Part 1 of the meeting. Research. Do your research on the property prior. Know the neighborhood and specifically what has sold, what it has sold for, and when it sold, and what has not sold. This will give you a ballpark of the property's value. And you'll want to establish your own limits before beginning the negotiation. Begin with the end in mind. Part 2, confirm. At the meeting, your mission is to confirm what the seller told you over the phone and what you found in your research to be true. And whatever you discover at the meeting, you can adjust your value accordingly. Part 3, make the offer. And there are countless ways to do this. And this is how I do it. I position the offer congruently with me being a problem-solving, good cop, reluctant buyer. And it might sound something like this. Mr. Seller, based on the current market conditions and everything that you shared with me about the property, and after carving out a small profit for myself, what you're saying is we're right around $60,000. Is that correct? If they agree, get the contract signed. If they disagree, well, Mr. Seller, based on the market, the condition of the property, and a small profit for me, what's the number you had in mind? And if their answer doesn't work for you, you'd move into, well, Mr. Seller, it looks like the market might not allow us to both get what we want. And that's okay, it happens. I can't buy them all. You do have a few options though. Would you like to hear about them? Okay, so first, I think the price you want for the property isn't out of the realm of possibility. I think you can definitely get that number if you're willing to do some repairs and get the house ready for a retail buyer. This is the retail option. You'll have to hire a real estate agent to market the property on the multiple listing service. And of course, there are commissions involved. You'll have to make the house available for showings and open houses. The agent will go ahead and they'll point out the repairs that need to be made. And I'm sure they'll point out where you can get the best bang for your buck. And that's going to take some time, but probably worth it. And then right now for the area, the average days on market is about 30 days. And the average mortgage completion is about 45 days, as long as the bank approves the final loan and the buyer follows through. So if this is what you want to do, I know some good contractors I could refer to. I know a great agent that will get you your price, and I could make those introductions if you'd like. Remember, you're the good cop, and this is what a good cop would do. They would help. The second option is the investor option. If you just want to move on without any effort, time, or uncertainty on your part and get cash for the property as is, and then you could leave the hiring and the fixing and the managing all up to me. I'll close fast, I'll pay all the closing costs, and there'll be no showings and there'll be no contingencies because I'll be paying cash. The price though will look quite a bit different. It won't be a retail price, but much closer to the price originally suggested. So which one would you like to do? The retail option or the investor option? Or would you like to hear the third option? The third option, for lack of a better word, is called the hybrid option. I'll still use my time and energy for the hiring, the fixing, and the managing. You won't have to wait. I can still close fast. I can still pay all the closing costs and can even pay a higher price if you're willing to take some money now and the rest later. So how much do you need right now? And then be quiet. Silence is golden here, as this is the question that'll open up the deal to your creative financing offer. By the way, if you'd like some additional help in putting your creative offers together, you can grab the same cheat sheets that I give to my private REI Ace clients at epicbreakthrough.com for free, my gift to you. Now, if they push back and resist your creative offer, then okay. So, Mr. Seller, which one do you want to do? The retail option, the investor option, or the hybrid option? Again, be quiet and let them answer. When you give 3 options like this, a really funny thing happens. Sellers will tend to forget that they have a fourth option where they could just say no. And most of the time, you're going to get, I want to think about it. And that would take us to phase 3, the follow-up, where the vast majority of the deals are closed. There's a reason they say the fortune is in the follow-up, because that's where it is. Now at this point, after confirming what it is that they do want to think about, I would typically dismiss myself with something like, Mr. Seller, I understand why you'd want to think about it. It's a big decision. So give me a call as soon as you've made up your mind, as I've got other appointments and I want to be able to honor what we discussed here today. But I can't make any promises if I buy one of these other properties. And then you're going to follow up like crazy with email, direct mail, text messages, phone calls until they tell you to stop. Now, as promised, the bonus, a few of my favorite ninja negotiating tactics. Number 1, don't concede without a concession. If you're going to give something up in the negotiation, ask for something in return. 2, know their name and use it often. People like the sound of their name and they like the people that use it. Number 3, don't make an offer until you know the seller's motivation for selling. Because if there's no motivation, there's no deal. Number 4, it's an interview. The entire negotiation is an interview, and I want you to listen to the answers as if there's going to be a test afterward. Amateurs don't listen. Sellers will open up to the professionals that do. And 5, automate your marketing so that your leads are always flowing. It's easier to walk away from a bad negotiation when you know you have other opportunities waiting for you. Now meet me in the next lesson and I'll show you how to find these types of creative deals so you can put your new negotiation skills to work. What did you find most valuable here today? Let me know below in the comments. And when you think of someone who might also find this lesson helpful, please share it with them. Thanks for watching. See you soon.